Hey, sixth grade, we're getting ready to start our cut paper collage books. Here is my example book. It starts out with a picture of one of my favorite foods, which is a strawberry. And you open it up. Here's my first, I was born, my first page. And it's an accordion fold, so it continues just to open up like so. And we're going to use different colored background papers, so this is going to give you a lot more color in your book, which is awesome. So to get started, we're going to, well, first you're going to have filled out your whole worksheet here, your personal timeline. So you're going to have born, 2 past events, and a present event, a current event, and then something you want to have happen in the future. So you're going to write it out real quick, draw sketches here. That way you know what's going to happen in your book, what kind of pictures you want to show. Keep it simple. Now, to get started, this is going to be my first page. This is my born page. So this is going to end up looking like this. I'm going to show you right now how to do this little half page. So when I start, I'm going to need to draw my, what did I do? Not an apple. I did a strawberry. There we go. I'm going to draw my strawberry here first. Okay, so there's my strawberry. It's not a big deal going on here. It's just a very simple shape. It needs to be at least half the paper. So I'm going to cut this off. Cut off. And now I'm going to get my next paper. So this is going to be for my little stem on top. And I'm going to turn my paper here. I'm always going to be trying to draw from the bottom edge here. I don't want it to be, there we go. Just something real simple like that. Drawing from the bottom so that I have all of this paper that hasn't been used. Somebody else can use that. So I'm going to cut this off. Now, I'm not doing the best job cutting because being the genius that I am, I'm just going to flip it over and glue it down this way, and you'll never see my lines anyway. So when you're using the glues, don't forget to pick off the extra glue off the top. You're going to have to open them. These should be closed. And now I'm just going to do a couple little dots of glue and put that on. Then I would go to the scrap box, and I'm going to get some little pieces, and I'll glue those on. So that part's going to be done. I'm going to stop right there. I think you know how to do that part, so I don't need to show you that part. The next thing that I need to do is I need to attach this. So we're going to make a little hinge right here. And I want to use the same color that I used here on my first piece. So I happen to have some remaining red. I'm just going to trim this straight, fold this piece in half carefully. There we go. Now here's the trick. I'm going to glue the back of this to the top like this. So again, I'm going to do, there are my dots of glue. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to line it up with the top edge here. Oops, I'm really making a mess of the glue. Hopefully you will be neater. Wipe that up. Take a little scrap piece of paper. There we go. Now this is, as you can see, it's a little too long, so I'm just going to trim it with the bottom edge. So there's step 1 of my hinge. Now I'm going to glue this to the back of this paper. So now the hinge is going to go on the back of this paper. You don't want to glue it to the front because then you're going to see it. So I can open my hinge, and I'm going to put my dots of glue in here and lay my paper on top. Right? So there I have the very beginning of my book with my first hinge done. That wasn't so hard. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do here is I need to get my name on the top here. If you want to have nice lettering, you need to have guidelines. So I'm going to take a ruler. I'm going to line it up with the edge. So the edge of my ruler is with the edge of my page. And I want to come down, I think I'm going to go at least a ½ inch down. So I'm going to make a mark at ½ inch. And I want to make a mark at 1 1/4. I think that's a good size. I'll clear everything here. And I'm going to make the same measurement marks on the other side of my paper. So it's at ½ inch and 1 1/4. Now I'm going to line up my marks and as lightly as I can, draw some guidelines on there. I don't even know if you can see them, but I did them. Then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to write and how many letters. This is another great thing to do. So if I'm writing Mrs. Hollis, check this out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a dot, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spaces. So that means if I mark off, you can either figure out what the middle is, or you can do this. You can say SMIRLSL dot H space. So right here is going to be the middle. So that means the middle of my paper is going to be, sorry about that, flicking my pencil over there, right here. So I'm going to need to get Mrs. and Hollis just like that. So here we go. So I'm going to real quickly sketch in very lightly Hollis, and I'm going to go all capital letters. See if I can't make it work. I'm not really liking that so much, so I'm going to erase, and because I did it so lightly, it's going to be fine. Whoops, I lost my guidelines. You can also go, here we go. Try little letters, capitals and littles. There we go. There's Hollis dot SRM. All right, so I've got it on there. I don't know if you can see that at all. I'll bring the camera down. There we go. Okay. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is what kind of lettering do I want? I might want to change that, so maybe I'm going to sort of bow it out like it's trying to be a circle. The H is going to go out like that also. My L's are going to sort of curve. So will the I, and then the S's are normal. So there it is. And now I'm going to go over it with a marker. So M R S dot H O L L I S. There we go, Mrs. Hollis. Now, give that a second to dry. I can take an eraser, and I'm going to erase all of my guidelines. You want to give it a second or a minute or 2 minutes to dry so that you don't smear the marker. But once it's dry, it'll be fine, and you can just erase all that. And now it looks like you wrote it in pen the first time around. So that is the next step. So we're back, and we now need to start the first picture. When you're working on your picture, you need to work from the back to the front. If I put this railing on for my crib first, how am I going to get the mattress on there? If I put the mattress on and then I put the baby on and then I put the railing on here, that's great, but what about the back rail? Cribs always have two if you're going with the crib. Now you could do a high chair, you could do a swing, you could be held in somebody's arms, lots of different things you could do. Since I'm recreating from this book, I'm just going to repeat this. So I have my piece of paper. This is the 3 by 4.5 paper. It's already cut for you, and it makes it all the way across. I want to work smarter, not harder. So I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to fringe this. So you know fringing is just making your cuts. I want to make them even, and since I know I'm doing a crib, I'm going to make them, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch apart. And I cut all the way down here. Now I'm going to cut every other one out. So I'm going to take out that piece, and I'm going to take out the next one, and the next one, and so on, all the way down here. And I'm done. So now I can open this up, and I'm just going to cut right on that fold line. Now I have the back and the front of my crib. So I'm going to put this here, and then I was a girl. I'm sure my parents had pink. I don't need quite all of that, so I'm going to fold part of this over. I need more than half, but not quite a whole piece of paper. So I want to fold that, cut it on that fold. Alrighty, there's the crib mattress. Now, I cannot glue this right down on here right now because then I don't have a baby in here. So I would glue this part back here, glue the mattress on, and now I'm going to glue the person. Keep it simple. So I'm going to start with a piece of peach paper, and then I'll need to be, I can't get a hold of my peach paper. There we go. And then I'm going to be wrapped in some sort of clothing, some blanket, little sleeper, and here's going to be my paper. So I'm just going to keep this simple, like I said. I'm going to fold this in half, fold it in half again. This is going to give me 4 heads, 1, 2, 3, 4, that I can use in here. So you can cut them out one at a time or all together. Probably you should do it one at a time because you might lose them, I would think. So here comes the head. So head, and then I need to have the blanket wrapped baby. So I only need half of that. And I'm going to be doing an oval. So I'm just going to cut around here in an oval. All right. You're not going to put the oval on top because then the baby's head is tucked into the blanket. We make sure that the baby can breathe, so it's outside of the blanket. And then we glue this down on top. And I'm done with the first page, ready to move on.